So, with the confirmation of Kazuchika Okada being the opponent to retire Hiroshi Tanahashi at WrestleKingdom 20, which will most likely be the main event, we also have confirmation of a formal sellout for the Tokyo Dome. And I think in the whole history that I have watched New Japan, when I was watching in the mid 2010s to like 2020, has never happened, in my tenure of watching New Japan and the Wrestle Kingdom shows. So it just hats off to them, especially for what seems like the last couple of years kind of waning popularity, at least over here in kind of the States, around, just due to, I think, the overabundance of a lot of other different types of wrestling and just various other factors with like talent coming or going from New Japan over to AEW and other places, for example. But with this recent announcement of the Okada Tanahashi retirement match, which I made a video kind of campaigning for Shinsuke Nakamura, but I did say basically the second best thing, or next best thing, even equally, is another match with Okada. And we are getting that reality. Okada did have a surprise appearance at a New Japan show, popping that Japan crowd, which when you legitimately pop that Japan crowd, you have something special. And obviously with this sellout happening now for the Tokyo Dome, which I generally don't think that there's been something like this or hype for Japanese pro wrestling in terms of like a Tokyo Dome sellout since like the early 2000s and the 90s. Hiroshi Tanahashi does speak to that because he is not only is he the current president of New Japan, but he is paramount to the success of New Japan through the dark period that happened right before this 2010 boom, kind of with him, Nakamura, and a lot of others. He was the guy who kind of spearheaded that and was the Cena kind of that whole era, these big, huge championship matches that Tanahashi was a part of, really were the foundation and building blocks for the success of New Japan moving forward into what we have now. It's going to be awesome to actually consider as well kind of how they move forward kind of with this Tokyo Dome main event or this Tokyo Dome sellout. Since it's kind of on the tails of Tanahashi retiring, I wonder how they will try to use the momentum of this to push forward, because before, I believe with Wrestle Kingdom 19 and 18, the sales were actually marginally lower than previous Wrestle Kingdoms. I think even with the Ricochet Zack Ryder main event and double main event of both nights, so you had like a combined total of like 30k. You had like almost 20k each night, maybe. But with this sellout for this one day event, I think that blows all previous stuff out of the water, and I guess puts New Japan in a position right now for them to kind of capitalize on not only Tanahashi's legacy, but I think maybe lay the foundations for what they want to do next. I do think that this match in particular, Okada and Tanahashi, is going to be a fun one. Okada is one of the best in the world. He's still in what I think is his prime. He's coming off of just having that unified championship run, with the Okada matches with Takeshita, etc., just killing it, and being able to retire Tanahashi, the person that basically legitimized him in the main event scene back when Okada came back from excursion, is extremely poetic. I did think that Shinsuke Nakamura was more of Tanahashi's contemporary and more of a peer, but I do think Okada, in terms of the story, it does kind of make sense for Okada to retire Tanahashi at the Tokyo Dome, because my first formative main event into New Japan was Wrestle Kingdom 9 when Okada fought Tanahashi in their first big Wrestle Kingdom main event bout, and that match to me, like, I didn't even know either of them, but I was completely enthralled in this main event and in the reactions that they were listening from the crowd. There's so many moments in both then the Wrestle Kingdom 9 and then the Wrestle Kingdom 10 match for me that just were formative in how I perceived wrestling in New Japan. And so I have to thank Tanahashi for that, and I do believe that Okada and Tanahashi, despite the levels that both are at now and the circumstances, will create magic again and finally put a great footnote in Tanahashi's amazing career. And it's just super poetic that we're gonna get, you know, a legit kind of storybook ending, especially I think with the Tokyo Dome sellout. I think the energy and atmosphere you're gonna get going into this will be unprecedented. I think since maybe, like, you know, you had Omega and Ibushi at the Budokan, the emotion you kind of saw there from the fans. I think you're gonna get that level of resonance here in this Tokyo Dome main event. There are gonna be people crying, tearful, and I think we're gonna get like a legit great final last stand from Tanahashi here too. That will really tug at the heartstrings, and I think will be just a great wrestling moment, and probably the greatest wrestling moment for New Japan to cap off an era that got a lot of people into it, and an era that is propelling it hopefully into the future with Tanahashi as president and no longer an active in-ring competitor. Let me know what you guys kind of think about Okada and Tanahashi, you know, going at it one more time at Wrestle Kingdom 20 and the sellout. Is this the biggest Wrestle Kingdom of all time?